Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, December 3rd. I'm John Weigell here with Sara Friedman, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. AI is dominating social networks everywhere, but its hold on LinkedIn is particularly poignant. How many LinkedIn posts have you seen that seem manufactured? This is part of a bigger problem on the platform that has both real people and bots using AI to flood your timeline. So what regulations are in place for this, and how many posts on LinkedIn do you see that are AI generated? We'll get to that in a bit, but first let's give you the hits and headlines in business and tech. Starting us off today, Carlos Tavares, former CEO of the declining car giant Stellantis, resigned from his position on Sunday. He will temporarily be replaced by a board member and heir to Fiat, John Elkann. This change comes as the Jeep and Ram parent company has reported very unsavory sales numbers in the past year. Next, over to South Korea. Seoul, South Korea is in the middle of a huge loneliness epidemic. Alarm bells have been kind of going off for a while after the country reached the lowest fertility rate in the world last year. City officials want to remedy this loneliness with a $322 million plan investment that will look to encourage community and events within the city. Next, from Korea, we go to Russia, kind of. Stoli Vodka has filed for bankruptcy in the U.S., though its products will still be sold in U.S. stores. The company was founded by billionaire Yuri Shefler, who was exiled from Russia in 2000 after opposing President Vladimir Putin. The company has since struggled with legal battles with the Russian government, cyber attacks, and a decrease in demand for alcohol post-pandemic. Rough kind of cocktail for them. Next, interesting news from the electric vehicle side of things today. Chinese Tesla competitor BYD is now building tech for Apple. BYD is now assembling over 30% of Apple's iPads with 10,000 engineers and 100,000 other workers dedicated to Apple's products. Software, batteries, and chips is a recipe for a lot of things, apparently, including iPads and cars. And finally, Disney's Moana 2 broke Thanksgiving box office records with $221 million in ticket sales over the weekend. That's a ton. Along with Wicked and Gladiator 2, the films generated $420 million in ticket sales, which is $100 million more than 2018's previous record for Thanksgiving weekend. Big weekend for the movies. Okay, so onto our main story. We all know that one account on LinkedIn that spews posts seemingly every hour of every day. Today, we're talking about the role of AI in what you see on the platform and how some influencers on LinkedIn may not even be real at all. So Sara, first, what does your LinkedIn feed generally look like? Can you describe it to me?
Yeah, I know that my feed has an alarming number of posts telling me how running a marathon holds valuable lessons for being a marketer. I'm sure you've probably seen the same.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of emoji, 500 words at least.
Yep.
So this is a place where people are really waxing poetic, not being shy about really wordy, kind of out there posts, and sometimes personal photos as well. Not sure if you've noticed that.
Oh, yeah. I kind of was behind that meme. It was a real post, but it got memed around about somebody had their engagement and they took a photo of their engagement and they were like, oh, this makes me think about sales because of this. So yeah, I've been seeing it in some places.
Yeah. So this might be a relief, actually. According to new reporting from Wired, not all of those posts might have even been written by humans. More than 54% of the longer English language LinkedIn posts are most likely AI generated. And that's according to analysis out of Originality AI, which is an AI detection startup. And they scanned about 8.8 thousand public LinkedIn posts that were at least 100 words long, published between January 2018 and October 2024. And the analysis found the amount of AI content spiked 189% at the beginning of 2023, which, not surprisingly, coincides perfectly with the release of ChatGPT.
Yeah, I mean, Makes a lot of sense that people would be using AI to write very lengthy posts on LinkedIn. I think most of the posts I've seen on LinkedIn, I'm like, that is definitely some kind of AI churning out this content. And creators on every single social platform, whether it be like Twitter, Instagram, especially text-based platforms like LinkedIn, have been looking more towards ChatGPT and other resources in order to create content very easily. And that's kind of a no-brainer. Kids do the same thing with studying nowadays and writing papers, apparently. So not that crazy of a reach, but it still is kind of a large percentage, that 54% of posts.
Yeah, it is a large percentage. And LinkedIn itself doesn't track the use of AI tools on its site. But the company did say that it does try to at least identify really low quality or duplicate content, and it stops it from being promoted more broadly. But the company is by no means against AI. It offers its own in-app tool to premium users that lets them instantly reword their content and write posts with the click of a button. So it definitely is promoting AI use and not necessarily monitoring it. But the idea is to not have it clogged up with tons of the same low quality posts.
Right. Yeah, I guess there is kind of a balance here, especially when the platform is very much offering these AI capabilities, that the platform just doesn't get run down with just a bunch of garbage, essentially, and just spam and all that stuff, which you could easily produce.
Yes, extremely easily. That's kind of the inevitable downside here. AI slop, which is the actual term that we've come up for that,
Fun
which
term.
is very fair.
Good term.
Yes, has, quickly taken over as AI has progressed. And we have seen the ramifications there of best case scenario, very low quality, oftentimes kind of weird, confusing content that isn't very helpful. Worst case scenario, we're dealing with more dangerous misinformation here. There's a new report out of Stanford and their Internet Observatory Cyber Policy Center. And AI-generated images on Facebook garnered hundreds of millions of engagements. And an AI-generated image was one of the 20 most viewed posts on Facebook in Q3 of 2023, with 40 million views. So it can get really scary really quickly here with content that is misleading, incorrect, has never been even touched by a human. Getting 40 million views, that can really drive opinions and spread misinformation.
Right. Yeah, totally. And you did mention Facebook, and I definitely wanted to ask about how other social media sites have been handling this or how they've been talking about it, because as you can create AI on LinkedIn, as we said before, you can create an AI generated post on pretty much any platform.
Yeah, definitely. And it's certainly everywhere. I think LinkedIn does lend really well to this particular type of tool because, as we said, even a human writing a LinkedIn post, it tends to be maybe a little forced, a little jargon filled. So I think
a little robotic, would you say?
Yes,
potentially.
Exactly. So it's a really great platform for, I think, AI content to kind of slip by unseen. But as you said, it is happening everywhere. And Mark Zuckerberg even forwardly said that AI generated and AI summarized content will become increasingly common across Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, and that Meta's AI chatbot is already in use by more than 500 million users every month. So, I think we're just ramping up, and it definitely will be happening across all social platforms.
Yeah, it seems like it. And the crazy part about that is he's not saying that negatively, which is so interesting because, people are using the chatbot. It's doing really well. So there seems to be no negatives when it comes to big tech companies and using this kind of technology. But there are negatives, I guess, for the consumer, which we'll have to reckon with as we go forward and make more posts and see more posts and, have our timelines be absolutely flooded by AI generated images and content.
Yeah, exactly. I think it will be increasingly important to, stay cynical, ask questions, be a little suspicious of everything you read and see would be the advice moving forward.
Good. Yeah, stay vigilant out there,
Yes.
Sarah. I know you love a good LinkedIn scroll, so be careful. Be careful when you do.
I will be, thank you.
All right, and that'll do it for us today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a ton more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go get signed up at thehustle.co/email and follow us on Instagram at The Hustle Daily. And we'll see you tomorrow.